Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It gives me great pleasure to welcome to the show today Sportsnet anchor, best-selling author, father, friend, collector, brother, son, fundraiser, public speaker, and most important, ambassador for his home of Pictou, Nova Scotia. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're a farmer or a sperm, you're planting a seed, please welcome to the show. It's Ken the Killer Reid. Sorry, I can't read my own writing, my man. I can't read my own writing.
I love your intros, Terry, and honestly, nothing makes me happier, buddy, than to see the success you're having, pal. I'm a TR super fan, buddy, and nothing makes me happier to see you jet setting all around the place and Dolo giving you a bike and everything, man. It's awesome.
We've come a long, and the feeling is absolutely likewise. And we've come a long way since 07, 08, Terry's Tales. And what was it called? The Bob Stauffer Show?
It was Trainwreck Tuesdays. So Bob Stauffer was kind enough to put us on, and away we went. And Bob's having such great success too. Eh? It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's
amazing. And Jack Michaels, I don't know. Have you ever met Jack?
Yes, he's amazing. He's
great?
Full on energy. He gets the game, I think, the way we do. He gets the game. Yeah. He broadcasts it the way Bob Cole does. A 4 into a 7, a 4 into a 7, and a 7 into a 10, and a 10. Your mind is blown, right?
Your mind is blown. So he was my guy in Colorado Springs.
Yes, I remember you telling me that.
That's amazing. He was just starting out. I only brought it up because I knew you guys would get along, and I knew you'd think what I like, because we see a lot of things similar. But I just think he's a magician up there in the broadcast booth. One of the first times, Ken, like we were down there, and that was the first year I started like missing more than half a season type of hurt, right? I got my arm skated over. I had a bad ankle problem that I couldn't end up playing with. But point is, I was in the broadcast. I'm like, well, I'm here. I might as well do the color. They're paying me. I might as well go up and do something. And so we went up, and I remember as soon as I sat down, hi, I'm Jack, doing your games. Hey, man, I got my arm skated over, like 7 games in. So, and he told me he's from, I think, somewhere in Pennsylvania somewhere. And he was into like football, and then he just kind of latched on with hockey. He didn't play it. I'm like, well, you really know the game for someone that is kind of passive growing up. He was just into other sports. Like it wasn't hockey or bust. So then I was like, you're pretty good for that. You're articulate. And we sat down, and he announced the game, and he set up the game, and he said, and here we are, and the Gold Kings are in white jerseys, and they're going right to left. And the Tacoma team are in the black and red jerseys, and they're going left to right. And I was like, what are you talking about left to right? What if I'm sitting on the other side of that doesn't make any sense. But he goes, but I'm painting a picture, and I'm not sitting over there. So he's like, I'd rather give the viewer exactly where and I never thought of it like that. And he often does that. There was a game the other day, and there was a skirmish. He paints a picture for the people because not everybody's watching on TV, and a lot of people can't see. So he's like, so the other day, and he's watching, and he's doing the game, and Perry and a bunch more, and their helmets came off. And whatever way he said it, and they're in the ruckus, and 3 of them helmets are off. And the way he explains it, he adds imagery that you don't necessarily need if you're watching the game. And I often, he reminds me that there's all kinds of people that are listening, and his imagery is fantastic.
I think you do need it. I think the best play-by-play announcers are guys who started in radio, like Jack and like Bob Cole.
Yeah,
I think a lot of modern announcers think that the adjectives and the coloring of the game comes secondary to stats, and I couldn't disagree more. I want a play-by-play commentator who brings me in.
Totally.
Bob Cole brought you to the Bell Center or Maple Leaf Gardens. Jack brings you into the arena. He makes you feel that energy. That's what I want. That's what Jack does. And obviously he did it way back in his Colorado days as well. And I like to think I did it for the Dartmouth Olin Exports in the Maritime Junior League, Terry, but I couldn't have done it too well because I haven't done it in about 3 decades.
Well, I had to get caught a couple times. It's the play-by-play. You think it's like anybody. I just did color with Rod Black. I mean,
saw that, yeah.
You have to be prepared, but it's so much easier than doing the actual play-by-play.
I love play-by-play. If I could pick one thing to do, it would be that. I love it. I absolutely love it. I have to show you my old play-by-play tapes when you come up one day. You'll get a kick out of it.
I'd love to see. You know what happens to me? I just like real life. I'm telling one story, and I start rambling during the play. Like I got to remind myself to come back and like talk about who has the puck. I just start going.
Sure. It has to be concise, right? You got to make your point.
got to make your point. Yes, that's why I'm color. I'm very confident. I enjoy doing it. Play by play, I'm a 2 out of 10. I'm just giving you too much info.
Yeah.
Goals are going in, and I'm talking about Seniors Basement. And anyway,
well, I can't blame you about that. I mean, I talk about Seniors Basement everywhere I go. It's like a hockey, it's seriously, it's a hockey mecca. People show me their collections. I'm like, that's cool, but the most pure collection I've ever seen is Seniors Basement. It's beautiful.
And he just got. We went down. I took this most
recent.
recent.
I saw was there.
McGrattan and Joe Dolo came down in the basement, and they got it. I've been talking about it for a while, but that even we left, and McGrattan said, he said, "Is he like drinking now, or is he on mushrooms or something?" I'm like, no. This was like a middle of a day on a Tuesday.
Sure.
There was. I go, no. This is just the way he is, the way he's wired. He had the fights going, and then he knew McGrattan's like. He knew the play-by-play for like 5 of his fights. I only told him we're coming in like last minute. So this was, I go like, this is him knowing. Well, he fought Brad Brown. It was one of the best fights. And
yes,
it was exhibition, but it was wicked when Brad was with the Leafs.
Yes.
I knew he'd know that one, but Dad was calling the other ones play-by-play. I'm like, how much, when I leave, like, what do you be doing down here? He's like, YouTube, I can do whatever I want.
I'm telling you, your father might, we've said this. I think he might be my spirit animal. Like you and your dad, and I think you told me that Jared's the only guy that watches as many old League North American hockey fights as I do.
Yeah,
on your show, and
definitely.
I think it's amazing that I think when you truly find success in life, it's doing what you love and doing what you're passionate about it and finding an avenue for it. And I think you've done that. I think people should be paying your father for tours of his basement if he wants to monetize this. But I love that your dad just
he should.
I'm telling you, people would pay. It's almost like the field. Your dad's basement is the field of dreams for.
Fuck, you're right.
For old school, pure hockey fans. Like there's no instructions in your dad's basement on how to turn tight around a cone and headman the puck.
Yeah,
you can sit there and talk hockey all day. Your dad doesn't need to tell me about the importance of a 4-foot pass because we both already know it, right? Like I don't need to know that. You can learn a lot in that basement. It's an awesome place. There you go, Terry. Seniors Basement, your field of dreams, hockey version. That's what it is, man. I
think that you're on to something there. I should add that, by the way, anybody listening, I always forget to mention it on my own podcast, but TerryRyan.ca. I started that. There's merchandise.
Oh, good.
There's videos, whatever option. Because I have so many messages that I try to make them concise on there. But, I might add to the mix. Seniors Basement, tour Seniors Basement.
You should. Yeah. So Dolo, that was Dolo's first time going down?
Oh, yeah.
How long did it take to get down the stairs?
It took, honestly, just like when you were, it honestly took, I'm not exaggerating, at least 45 minutes and I think an hour plus just to get down the stairs.
Yeah.
Past the pitchers in the front.
Yeah.
That's less than 1% of what's in there, but we can't. Yeah. It took us about an hour and a half to sit down. Now, listen, Jared Kiso, I'm telling you now, this guy knows every fucking fighter in North America. I'm serious. Love, and not only that, loves hockey, whatever. Jared can rhyme off stats to you and has great opinions and everything. But I couldn't believe the level that he knew these guys. Now, this is true. I'm just going to read this to you. The minute that Jared found out that I was playing for the Growlers, I don't want to give, there's all kinds of personal stuff. I'm going to go past that. He says, but buddy, this is wild. What a birthday present for you. I see you're playing Adirondack. And then yada, yada, yada. He goes, boom, Nico Blockman, boom. Daryl Skiach, boom. Okay, he gives me those guys. And then Zach Walker, the guy I fought. Happy birthday.
He's doing your game notes for you.
Darren Skiach, a big guy with big reach. Been watching him since he played in the WHL. The league was super tough. And then he fought a lot of really tough dudes, including John Ludwig, who is the fighter in Pittsburgh now. Yeah, he would be considered a heavyweight in the ECHL. And on and on and on. He gave me game notes from these guys.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
See, my knowledge stops around 2000. He keeps evolving. He keeps going. That's amazing to me.
He keeps going. He goes to games in Quebec and watches.
If Army if Army had Jared back in the day, he never would have got filled in, but then he wouldn't have been ever able to name his pod Game Notes, right?
Yeah,
Jared would have given Army the heads up.
yeah, exactly. If
So
he had
Jared,
him,
in a way, is responsible for Kobe's beak. I love you, Colbs.
Oh, you love busting him about that too, eh?
Oh, he's my favorite, man. Like, listen, I'm a guy with no skin pigment. I can't tan. I turn neon pink. I got a big beer belly. I think self-deprecation is the highest form of humor. And Colby's one of the best at it too, right? He's a beauty. It's like you and your tooth, right? You get it.
He was a 15-year-old Red Deer Rebels, right? He's a Red Deer alumni. He came in. Colby watched our team closely when we went to the final. We just drafted him, and
oh, no kidding,
he was a huge pick. Yeah. I came into practice with I was always aware. As soon as I left Red Deer, he came in and became a star.
I love the way he played, man. Love the way he played.
Yeah, man, and I like that form of humor too. It's why, early on, I gravitated towards Conan O'Brien versus
Buddy.
Are you the same way?
Dude, yeah. I always say self-deprecation is the highest form of humor, and when I look at Conan, that's all I see. Nobody made fun of himself better on a national platform than Conan. Like, he may have been the first, I think. Like, Letterman never was, I didn't think, was too self-deprecating.
Not really.
Carson sure wasn't. But Conan was like, I'm running with it, man. I'm a 6'6" redhead guy. I'm running with it. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, I'm a guy that I'm a geek. I like hockey fights, Degrassi Junior High, and the Dukes of Hazzard. Where is that going to get me in life? Well, here I sit. So do you, right? Do you?
Yeah.
I love it, and that's my favorite thing about hockey is the room, and the room to me is a place where it's a place where you can just chirp another guy, and if you chirp a guy and he can't laugh at himself, I'm like, I don't really get that guy.
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to talk show hosts, you say Johnny Carson he didn't have that in him. He had too much stubborn pride to ever admit any wrongdoing or fault. Right. Now, again, I like when he did. Great. There was an impact. Not my style, and maybe outside of that, if I met him, I don't know if I'd get along with him like I would Conan. I just think so.
Yeah.
And by the way, I love how you said the room. That's why it's great. That's a great part of Shoresy. We come in and we're sharing these. We still have to go in the room and put on our skates and everything, and we're sharing stories and we're having coffee in the morning and donuts.
Making the show, yeah,
right. It has to happen. And Jared played the game. He just didn't play professionally like we did, but he played, so he knows all about it. And we're not in there I'm not saying we're in there thinking of chirps. Oh, this would be great, Jared. We're beyond that. I gave him one idea once, and I'm like. And I just didn't know. The season 1 hadn't come out yet, and we just filmed it. And I realized I'm never gonna I felt so bad when I saw the show and how great it was, and then I realized my idea was stupid. And this guy's one of the best fucking writers of his generation. I'm gonna shut the fuck up. So I'm saying when we go in the morning, it's not suggestions. It's just talk. It's just like we were playing a game. It's just like.
But do you think the camaraderie that you guys had developed? You have your own room. And then there's the room on the show. And the room on the show is probably, I'm guessing, since Jared is such a good writer, it's probably now influenced by the room not on the show. You know what I mean? Like,
like
exactly. Slapshot, arguably, the greatest hockey movie of all time.
It is.
And it's because no one knew, but the writer was Nancy Dowd. Her brother was on the Johnstown Jets. She was like a fly on the wall, and she wrote it down, and it was true. A lot of it was true, and it was real, and it was raw, and that's what made it resonate. And I think that's what makes Shoresy raw and resonate, because senior whale shit hockey, and I love the Sasky Senior League. I'm pumped. The Pictou County Pipers are coming to the all new Nova Scotia Senior League. You got to play a game there. Me, you, and
Colby. Oh baby, get me going. Let's do it. All I want is some pizza pie down to Acropolis.
Exactly. But that's the beauty of Slapshot, is it was real, so it was relatable. The beauty of Shoresy to me is, my God, it's real, it's relatable. It's small town Canadian hockey. And who can't relate on any level? What I love about the show is it's kind of the last hurrah for whoever's in that team, right? That's where they ended up to play. And I remember going back to when I did a book with Eddie Shack. The book we did together, it was kind of Eddie's last hurrah. And who wouldn't want a victory lap or one last shot at whatever they're chasing? That's what Shoresy is to me. And it's like,
yeah, man. And
when Shoresy had to decide to hang him up, he's like, but he got it.
You know what? Also, is an observation that you're right. And when you watch, even someone that's a non-hockey fan per se could identify, but I love it too because hockey players, especially junior, get reputations for getting around with women, and women are called puck bunnies here. But I've often said, I'm like, but like, say in Montreal, that was really that was magnified because it's Montreal. So people are going, here comes Terry or Corson or whoever that's out having beers. But like a lot of guys that were, I don't know, like Peter Popovich or Jonas Hoagland, everybody's different. Like some guys didn't go out much and some guys were faithful to their wives. It was no different. Any random amount of 20, 25 guys.
Any society, right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it shows that, he's after Laura Moore. That's not absurd that a hockey player would fall in love with a woman and want to do everything for her and be faithful. And it's often lost on people. And I used to hate the word puck bunny because I'm like, I don't know, like I would come back at 19 or 20. I'm like, well, you can kind of see it. It's not just because we're hockey players. We got to be in shape. We have to be, like, in order for the profession. We're going to have a little bit of money ahead of other people. Now in 4 years, they're all going to catch up because they're going to graduate. But, we can kind of go, hey, you want to go to Italy? So like, I see the appeal. And I never looked at it like that, although we all had fun. But I just find there's this like box that hockey players and their girls are in.
Right.
And Laura Moore is very realistic. Someone on every one of my team liked a girl like that, and we'd often help them. I'd go, okay, come on, what are we going to do here?
Shoresy ran a marathon for God's sake. Did he not?
And it's not absurd. So,
right.
and that feeling of wanting to be with someone. I mean, anybody, you don't have to be a hockey player to know that. So I'm really glad. I didn't see really that happening when the show started and I was reading the script. I was so happy that this is going to be funny, like Letterkenny. But there's a lot of, under those layers, there's real stuff that real people deal with.
And then there's like the teenage sports reporter. That guy just cracks me up. He cracks me up. But it's so well done. There's elements to it. And I'll be watching a game with my wife and I'll go, Ash, look. There's a guy in the stands in Florida with a Shoresy jersey on. That's Terry's show. And it makes me so proud of you, buddy. And it's like, holy smokes, like unreal. And I mean, I got buddies everywhere that love it. And it's, I don't know, there's just something about it. Like you said, it's shown that hockey players are more than hockey. And again, it's a great avenue just to tell an awesome story. And like when Brad Bonello, when I saw him on it, I'm like, oh my God, Bones, that is just awesome. And he's like, basically, they're getting me to play me. And I'm like, I know, awesome. I'm just chirping. I'm like, that's deadly. Because I used to cover him when he played for the Ottawa 67s. I loved him as a player. He was just awesome. Like, again, and if you want to take, like, those are the kind of guys you win with. You win with a Brad Bonello. You win with a Terry Ryan. And, that's the beauty of hockey. Guys,
it's awesome. And you know what else, Ken? I know being in the industry, not many actors get to work as a regular on a TV show, which is and a lot of great accomplished actors. Just met a lot over the years. Like I said, most people know, but 6, 7, 8 years on crew, purely on crew without ever thinking I was going to do anything else. And then, so it's one thing. So as an actor, I appreciate the fact that I got a job as a regular on a series. That's unique. B, it's not only that. It makes people smile.
Yes.
It's so wherever you go, and that's a great, what you just said. It's a great point. I went down to Florida about a month and a little bit and change ago, went to a game, and it was overwhelming. I mean, it happens, but you expect it to happen in Toronto. But, Florida and people coming just hugging me and everybody's just so elated. Like, and I'm going, man, I'm just a conduit here. I'm just connecting Jarrett's ideas to you guys at home because he's writing it for me. I don't have anything else to do with it, but I'm happy I make you smile, Can
I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So for me, you're Terry. I've known you forever. But like Eric Estrada, when he was on Chips, he'd go out in the day and people would be like, Ponch. With Rob Wells go out, people are like, Ricky. When you go out, if you're in a rink, how many people just yell Hitch as opposed to, hey, Terry Ryan? Are you known as Hitch?
First of all, a lot of people yell, a lot of in a good way. Like there's a lot of that, and at least half is Hitch.
Okay.
When I go to these things, Ken, like I often said, like I appreciate Jackson events. I'll be out there in Saskatoon. We just spoke about it in a week and a half.
Sorry, Saskatoon can't make it. Got to cover the Cup final. But
yes. Yes, I'll be there. I was in the last 3 I've done. The way it works, the teams raise money and then they draft according. So the last 3 I went 1, 2, and 4. And I just went 4 with like Roenick and Recchi and Turgeon. And what's happening there, I often like I don't let it go to my because they're not picking TR the hockey player. I'm very proud of playing in the NHL. Yeah. I'm very proud of it and being an author and all of those things and chicklets, that all kind of gets coming in here. But the big majority of it, like, is if I go ahead of Wendell Clark, that doesn't make any sense. In the real world, that doesn't make any sense, right? But sometimes that sort of thing happens. Not singling out Wendell Clark. I mean, whenever I go to these things, there's a bunch of legends. So for me to go in the top 5, it's not really TR. It's some of that. And people I think know that I'm going to probably go out and tell stories with them when some people probably won't. So you might as well pick the guy that's going to go out and get on a jag with you. But it's almost every time they say, and we're picking from the Sudbury Blueberry Bulldogs, Teddy Hitchcock. That's what happens most. And I'm totally fine with that. But to answer your question, there is a small to moderate amount of buzz about TR, the person and the player and the author.
Right.
But then there's a snowball that continues to grow, and it's rolling down Mount Everest at an alarming rate. And that's the Ted Hitchcock Shoresy train. If I could,
and the beauty of the Ted Hitchcock Shoresy train is you're getting that, and then through that, hopefully, people will discover the TR thing. But like I always, when a guy, and clearly you're not typecast, the show's new, but like Stifler, Sean William Scott, people still call him Stifler, and he's like, I'm cool with it, but nothing wrong with that, man.
Totally. I didn't honestly. I appreciate movies. I appreciate great actors. I always do. I've watched almost all the top 100. Like I've always really, really been into it.
Yes,
it doesn't surprise me. But my goal was never to be like Robert De Niro or anything. I'm just happy I'm on a show. Like, typecast me. We good. Like, see this? I do have a tooth. I tell people watching online.
Yeah.
It's just at this point, almost every role that I get, well, it's pretty okay. Now there's the gangster we know. There's the hockey player. There's
How good is that? How good is that? Like, it's great.
And that's kind of the definition of being typecast. If I only get roles with no tooth, it's not really about my acting.
If anybody's looking for a beady-eyed guy with vitiligo, I'm your Huckleberry. Like, I'm there. Like, they don't seem to be in demand. But
Speaking of, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Speaking of, I'm your Huckleberry. Let's talk acting. Let's talk Val Kilmer, and let's talk Val Kilmer, R.I.P. And I think he got ripped off from at least being in that movie Tombstone. I just thought, and it's all subjective, but he should have got more love for Best Actor. I don't even think he got nominated.
No, when I think so many people
supporting actor,
right? So many people think The Doors and they think Top Gun. I immediately think Tombstone.
Immediately.
I'm your Huckleberry. I still say that all the time. It's the
What, Johnny Ringo? My hypocrisy goes only so far. Sheriff for one day. Yeah.
I mean, what a role! Like, I mean, I don't know how he did it, but
you die for that, man. Like,
my other favorite role of his is Kuntz in MacGruber. As you know, I love MacGruber.
I know, it's funny.
To it and the nth degree. You know the page in when MacGruber had the notebook and he wrote out the license plate and it was pages and pages and pages and pages and pages of that. Did you know that Will Forte actually did that? He was the guy that made the notebook. Like, that's how invested in the MacGruber character he was.
Because that was his guy on Saturday Night Live, right?
Yeah, and they made a movie out of it, and the movie was just so beautifully ridiculous, and they don't make beautiful, ridiculous movies anymore because God forbid you might offend somebody. Like,
I know, right?
Oh my God!
Thing of the past.
I'm a MacGruber. I'm a virgin, not for long.
For that time, there was one of those every like couple months. It seemed
there was. It was awesome.
Popcorn movie. It's not going to get 100%, but it's going to be pretty funny. It's definitely going to be a few laughs. Let's just take our mind off things.
I mean, you look at it right now. Superbad, American Pie, MacGruber. No, Old School. No way any of those movies get made today. Not a chance.
I can't believe no. There's no way. Old School's another one. Jesus, what a classic. I can't believe we're almost a half hour in. I got a couple of questions that I'm curious as a sports person. You know what? I don't even want to go leave, so I'm going to skip over that one. I'm sick of it. First of all, who does your wardrobe? That was a snappy outfit last night, by the way. Very St. Patrick's Day, but still, it was very snap. And the shoes, awesome shoes. And Pastor Timmy McAuliffe had some great shoes on yesterday too. 3 of you guys did actually, and Kelly made some good points.
I love Kelly made a great point about the handshake. He picked that up right away between Rod the Bod and Peter and Paul Maurice. Wardrobe, Deb Berman is our stylist, and she's amazing.
So do you know what you're wearing that night, or do you come in and pick it off a rack, or is it at your house?
I come in and it's there's a bunch of suits on a rack, so I walk in just looking like this in my hoodie. If anyone's listening, yeah, and she picks out all this to get the suits made for us. We're very lucky.
Well, she must know that you're a little bit more liberal with your style, because you seem to always get things that are a little bit loud but stylish.
Yes, that's thanks, Terry. Yeah. So when we started, I would go get outfit, and I'd be like, "Oh, I love this, Deb. I love this." Oh, and she'd kind of push back. And now we know each other so well. I don't even go for the fittings. She just suits show up, and let me see if I got one in the closet. I don't think I do, but they just show up, and we totally get each other now, right?
Yeah.
It's like Curry and Gretzky. We don't need to look anymore. But I just brought a bunch back in. But yeah. So yeah, Deb does all the clothing. She's super skilled. Deb Berman.
Yeah, I bet. Do you think this? I never imagined this until the other day when we were doing a little segment on Gavin McKenna, who's if people don't know who I'm talking about, just look it up. If you're a Canadian hockey fan, you probably do know. He's super prospect along the lines of Bedard, and probably even given that he's got a whole nother year before he gets drafted, and his numbers are already generational like. Let's just say they win the Memorial Cup. Okay. If Medicine Hat win, is there a chance you think because he would have won it, and
I know where you're going.
Is there a chance he could go NCAA?
I know where you're going, yeah.
And then because it's less games, now again, I wouldn't care. I'd welcome the games, but I don't know if you're his agent, you're probably going, hey, you want to play 40 games? You want to come over here and try to win the Hobie Baker and whatever it's called?
Yep. It's we are into uncharted territory, right?
Yeah.
We're Christopher Columbus just sailing. You don't really know what's out there. Something's out there. Yeah. What if like this name, image, and likeness money? You're seeing guys pass up their 20-year-old season now to go down and play NCAA. And what if some super prospect comes along, they win the Memorial Cup in their grade 12 year and whatever bit, and they're like, well, if I can't make the jump to the NHL now, why don't I go to the University of take your pick and get some name, image, and likeness money? It doesn't sound strange to me. And I think it will happen.
It'll happen at some point. And if you're a pastor and you want to change things, again, I'd rather pick. I would have. I had both offers. I picked the WHL, and I still would pick Major Junior.
Now you can get both.
It's not for everybody. And even if it was, like I said,
he could
be the first. He could be not only win. A 19-year-old could do that in both. But he could win and be the MVP in both before he's even picked on a stage to the NHL.
He could. Yeah,
I think I'd want to do it.
Yeah.
I think I'd want to try. He's the best in Major Junior, but he's going to be up for the Hobie Baker in one way or another. He'll be in top 20, or you'd think one, but it's a lot of pressure to put on a kid.
Hey, you were a stud at 18. You do well in Tri-Cities, then Montreal drafts you. What if they said, hey, go play college hockey for a bit? Would you have done it? You're definitely smart enough.
I would have definitely done it. What I think it could do for the program, though, like, because if again, I'm looking at it from all angles. Let's say he signed with Boston College. If he goes in, it would be weird for that 1 year, because there's probably somebody that's going to be a good NHLer that they love, that they've had there, that's in year 2 or 3 of their program. Is like, oh, by the way, take a back seat just for a few months here while this guy comes in, runs his course, and then you're going to be captain again. What if we see an NCAA hockey program kind of become, let's say, what a University of Kentucky basketball program is? Yeah. They don't recruit guys until they're all first-round picks. Come here for a year or two instead of playing in small town, whatever, Major Junior, or playing in the American League.
come here for a year, a one and done hockey style?
One and done.
Will we see a school now? One and done has happened before in hockey, obviously, but we'll see a school push more toward that with ex major junior guys. Like it's a whole.
It's totally possible.
Yeah, it's an empty plate, and you got every ingredient in the store. It's what it is. It's Hell's Kitchen. Gordon Ramsay says, "Go ahead, make something." You got every ingredient there. Just create it.
Got it all in the summertime. Let's say back in the mid-90s, it's the summertime, and I call Wade Ridden and Darcy Tucker and Jerome McGinley, Marc Savard, Christian Dubé, and on and on and on.
Let's go.
Eric Daze. Guys, you know what? If we all go down and University of Michigan together, we're going to make a lot of money. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're probably going to win. Why wouldn't we do that?
It might happen. Christian Dubé, by the way, Hull Olympics, and what an outstanding European pro he was after his brief tenure with the New York Rangers. That's what's living inside my head, Terry.
Love it. Yeah, he came in. Look, he's one of my favorite junior players ever. People forget.
Was he not CHL Player of the Year one year?
It's the only year I know of. The tops. Here's what's weird. 94, 95 was a lockout year. Mm-hmm. So all of those, like I likely wouldn't have played against Rob Niedermeyer. Definitely not Daig wouldn't have come back. Alexander Daig had to come back. Like, now again, that was the cue, but still, it hurt me on the World Junior team. Hurt was bad. I had a great year that year. I just mean there are people get knocked down pegs.
Down the depth area.
Here it is, a lockout year that all these guys, Jeff Friesen, Ryan Smith, Curtis Brown, I can go on and on and on. A lot of guys would have been in the NHL. They weren't. Yet, it's the only year that in all three leagues, a guy in their draft year, Lanks won the scoring in the West, Marc Savard won it in the O, and Christian Dubé won it in the East. Now, I know they were up for it. Mm-hmm. Dubé was, he might have got player of the year, but I just found that wild. I'm like, of all the years, what's the odds on it being a year that all the boys are back? You would have all these 19-year-old players gone.
Hey, it's like everything we say, everything is opportunity. Who were you? When did you get drafted? No, who were you drafted by? Like, it's who went. Like, there's so many factors.
I just remember Ken playing against Portland, and I had to line up on that left side, and Adam Deadmarsh was on the right, and the motherfucker, he respected me, but he was so hard to play against. Yeah, he was so fucking hard. He'd hit you, right off the bat. Ready to go, Ryan? Boom! Right off the start of the game, and just doing it like joking, winking at you. Right. And if I didn't have to deal with that, and then there was one of those on every team that had a chance, or at least some of the 20-year-olds would have been in the A. Like, it was just it was overloaded. Yeah. And anyway, in all of it, I went to camp with Dubé. We played an all-star game together. Wow. I thought he was so good at World Junior Camp. He was the best player there. Now, for other reasons, he got his time in the NHL and he went overseas.
He's had great, I believe it's Switzerland, where he's had great success. And
he's like
there's a lot more leagues than just the NHL, as you know.
As you know, okay. And speaking of that, it's 35 minutes in. I got to go. My daughter got soccer. I got some things to do. Kenny Reid, thanks for doing this again today. I hope to see you soon. Do you have anything to add before we go?
Terry, it's always a pleasure. I know you love to read. I just finished an amazing hockey book by Aaron Volpatti. I don't know if you've read Aaron's book yet. It's absolutely incredible, the story that guy went through to make the Vancouver Canucks and to make the NHL. So I highly recommend that to you and your readers. And then if you're sitting around this fall and you're looking for a book, TR, my next book's coming out. It's called The Next One. And it's stories just how you find players, but it's not a technical book.
Wow.
It's old scouts, Terry, telling old hockey stories, buddy. It's right up our alley, pal. It's right up our alley. So there'll be some guys in the book, like Shane Turner and Archie Henderson and Brad Davis, a bunch of great scouts that are going to tell us some good stories. And I even got a John Brophy story in there for your dad, because I know he likes the old school.
He loves, John Brophy is just one of the, again, if you're listening to this and you're a moderate hockey fan, you won't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Please just put his name into the computer and let's search.
Yeah. And I'm working on an 80s book, Terry, and I'm going to have a whole chapter on Brophy.
Wicked. Look at this. How many books you got out now?
8 are out. This will be 9. So this one's going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be just, again, it's for your father's basement. It's just sitting around telling hockey stories. That's it. It's a put it this way. It's a scouting book with no analytics.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Good way to put it. And folks listening, Ken's got some awesome books out. My favorite is Hometown Hockey Heroes, but they're all the way the books are set up is that most of them anyway are anecdotes, right? Each chapter
Yes.
is an anecdote in itself, and together it's a great package. But you can read these stories. I hate to say it, a good bathroom read. You can.
It's a good bathroom read. Don Cherry told me the same thing, and I take that as a compliment. Now, one final thing. Since you're a fan of Hometown Hockey Heroes, my hero, of course, was Teapot, right?
Yeah.
The whole book was based on tea.
Pictou, Nova Scotia's home.
Stuart Skinner's got a little teapot in him. For those watching on video, you know what I mean, TR?
Oh, look at that.
That's a split screen of my man T and Stuart Skinner. Just a couple beauty mustaches. And that's got to be the secret to hockey success, maybe, a good duster. Because
it certainly doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt.
In
it
baseball,
doesn't hurt at all.
Baseball and hockey have the most iconic mustaches of the four sports, I think. There's outliers in the other two. But something about, and I don't know if that I had the cards. I didn't collect football or basketball cards, but I had baseball and hockey. So those facial features would stand out. I mean, you know that more than anything.
Yeah, I wish I could grow a good one, buddy. I'd have one all the time.
You know what? Who knows? Maybe that's what I'll do. That's my next move. When Shoresy, whenever it's wrapped up, I'm going to grow a stash and then.
Well, look, didn't Senior have one during his Kalamazoo K-Wing days?
Yeah. I think it was necessary on his team. I think it was the anti-Jacques Lemaire or who was it, Lou Lamoriello? The opposite world. I think it was like, hey, boys, grow some facial hair or you're cut.
It was opposite world. Hey, buddy, I'm super proud of your success. Please say hi to your mom and dad, Gail and Senior, and so excited to see Penny Lane having all the great success she's having in athletics. It's got to be a genetic thing, buddy.
Hey, who knows if it's it's positive vibes, nature versus nurture. Which one, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's some genetics in there, but if not, I'm going to set up Penny Lane, and she's had her meal. She's having her nap now. We're going to go to her game, and the sky's the limit if you put the time in and you've got the resources, right?
Yeah, and check out the Aaron Volpatti book, buddy. You'll love it.
I certainly will. That's Ken Reid, folks. Thanks a lot, my man.
Thanks, brother.
Kenny Reid. When I say my favorite is Hometown Hockey Heroes, it definitely is, because I like those stories from each community. And I travel so much that I can kind of identify with each place in the book. And I know like half of these local legends that, no one would have ever heard of, but I've been to these communities, so I did hear them. So Hometown Hockey Heroes. Then you got hockey card stories, right? There's stories, obviously, from hockey cards. One night only. Guys who played one game in the NHL. Hockey card stories 2. The next one is coming out soon. One to remember is people who got up to the NHL and had one goal. Really interesting stories, man. And you don't hear from these people all the time. And of course, Dennis Marouk, Eddie Shack, hockey's most entertaining stories. Those are all great reads, honestly, if you're a hockey fan, even if you're not. I'm not saying it just because he's my buddy, but they're really well written, and it's not too much. They're not too complex. Stories that most humans can identify with to some degree. So check them out, folks. And another thing you got to check out if you're downtown St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador, why not check out Trinity Pub, TJ's Pub, Rob Roy Confusion, the Martini Bar, the Bull and Barrel, and of course Greensleeves. If you're going to have a bite to eat, why not try out the Loose Tie? Why not try out Blue on Water? And of course, Wedgwood Cafe, who also do catering. Ride Power of Power Conditioning offers strength and balance for the body and mind. It's on Rope Walk Lane. Why not do yourself a favor and drop by? Mr. Lube, there's 2 locations right here in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. One's on Kemart Road. One is on Torbay Road. Live, laugh, lube! Crown Cabinets. Why not? Check it out. Crown Cabinets. Carpet Factory, laying the carpet for your community. GS Construction, laying the groundwork for your community. True Hockey, take what's yours. And of course, I loves me Mugsy jeans. Thank you to Mugsy jeans. I love them. I travel with them. They're so comfortable. They're so stretchy, and they're so fucking stylish. Check it out, folks. Mugsy jeans. You know what else? Check out my podcast again next week when I'm going to be back with more stories and another great guest. Thanks for listening to Tales with TR. I'll see you guys in a couple of days.